Good morning. So I just realized I didn't really record anything of my last January board meeting, but I loved it. I got a little emotional yesterday thinking this is like my last January board meeting with WMU and who knows how long. Not that I can't attend a general board meeting as a church member, but as an exec representing Montana, it was my last. It's my last January board meeting with these ladies. It just was a lot. But it was great. I learned a lot. Now's the time to pray, for the new woman God would have as executive director, to pray for our president as she puts a team together to search for that, and lots of prayer and getting ready to pour into the woman that team selects. So now we go to Huntley for church.
Well, when we moved out here, it was 16 years ago, just me and Sharon, young, in our 20s, and we sold almost everything we owned there in North Carolina, our house, everything, and moved out here. You know, we were young enough to just make things work. We didn't have to worry about anything. Going back is a little more complicated. Yeah, we've got kids, we've got things that we've collected, and there's not a market here to really sell everything that we have, and then recoup the cost to move down there. But some of the things are things that we've worked hard to gather, like our little secretary, where we keep our knickknacks, and our kitchen table or our dining room table, things like that are special to us that we want to keep. And of course, we have 2 extra people and all their stuff and their toys and from their bedroom. And so we're trying to figure out the logistics of doing that. So we moved out here for under $1,000. Some good news, we're getting some interest in partnerships with us, and so that is exciting. So
Crab walk it, you almost cheated. Uh-oh, get up. You're gonna learn a lot about crabs.
Yeah. I've done crab walk before when we went to a hotel.
Oh, you must have done crab walk at one of the state meetings.
We had to play something like soccer while crab walking.
Whoa. Oh, this is good.
There you go.
Follow the line, follow the line.
You want to go down and do jump scan, Henry?
So I have to admit, I've not been great at videoing. Life just seems busy, and I guess it never will slow down, and I don't know why I seem to have such a hard time with that, if it's an ADH thing or just a, do your math, bud, just a normal people thing. I don't know. I have decided that when you're older, it's hard to recover from late nights. So it was my last January board meeting, and I love the ladies I serve with, and 2 of them were in Billings with me, so I stayed up the first night till 2 a.m., the second night till 1 a.m. visiting, and it's just good for your soul, that kind of visiting and talking through things. But of course, then we had to get up at 6 the next morning to get ready for more meetings, and so there wasn't a lot of sleep. And so I've been a couple days home and going to bed at like 9:30 and sleeping through till 7, and still it just is hard for me. I'm just tired.
So after my run and thinking about it, it's less of a rant, more of explanation and just trying to talk through some things. But I want to start with the issue of time, because that will tie into the issue of money. But there's a high expectation on the time of a minister or somebody in the ministry. When I was in Bible college, we were told that it's like 1 hour of study for every minute that you preach. And so if you're in a traditional church that has 3 services a week and you're expected to prepare 3 messages, that's 90 hours of message preparation. That is unfair. It tends to take me about 20 hours of work to prepare each message, for research, putting things together, diagramming text, going through and making sure we're doing that. I'm able to cut it down to 20 because I do series. I'm able to do a lot of the background study initially, and then that carries out throughout the book. That's a whole different topic. But you're expected to spend time in sermon prep. You're expected to spend time praying. You're expected to spend time visiting church members. And then on top of that, they tell you that you're supposed to take a day off for sabbatical. You're supposed to spend plenty of time with your family. You're supposed to be involved in training and associational events and other things that are going on. And it really turns into a more than full-time job. And yet, in a lot of small churches, the expectation is that a pastor will be bivocational. So then you add a 40-hour, or if they're going to be part-time, 20-hour a week job on top of that, and then all of their time is completely gone. So that ties into the money aspect of it, where if you want a pastor to be full-time and do all of those things, they need to be compensated for that. And that's just a real struggle, because churches, for a lot of different reasons, some valid and some are extremely pitiful, but ministers are not compensated on comparable levels of other professions that require the same amount of time, expertise, training, all of those types of things. When it's this warm, the snow gets all slushy, turns to ice, which is not good. So you like to get the sidewalks cleared off and as dry as possible so that you can have a safe place to walk.
I'll just come with him. Mom should cut the video out on this.
Ending the night with a Duke game.
It's daycare day. It is 7:14. I had to get up early and take a shower this morning, and I need time to wake up in the morning, and I didn't do well this morning because both boys were awake and they were being loud, and I was trying to keep them quiet because KJ is still sleeping and he has a long day. So Elijah's going with me today. You can't see him, but he's back there. Jeremiah's going with KJ to the outreach clinic. He's going to take some school with him and get it done. And Elijah's going with me to the daycare, so yay.
Well. Welcome back. Today, I have board meetings down in Miles City with the outreach clinic. It's complicated. I'm not going to try to explain it, but it's training that has turned into a meeting, and then we have a regular meeting after that. So I'm going to be down in Miles City all day. Sharon is working the daycare. Therefore, we needed something to do with the kids. COVID's been kind of big around town here lately. People are testing positive, although nobody's showing symptoms. But anyway, that means that we're having to do things. So, long story short, me and Jeremiah are heading to Miles City.
Daycare day is done. I am now sitting outside the Assembly Church. Elijah's at Kids Club here. It's so nice to live in a small town. Rose, that I work with at the daycare, picks the kids up from school that come for after school care at the daycare. but she was going to take her kids to kids club, so she just took Elijah with her and dropped him off at kids club, which was nice, so I didn't have to do that. But he needs picked up at 6. It is 5:37 now. I got my dinner from the cafe, and I think I'm just going to sit in the car because I could go home and unload and eat and then get back in the car to come back, and it's just not worth all that. So I'm going to sit and I'm going to eat and wait for Elijah. So we got to visit today with Paul Ortiz, who is like, I don't even know what you call him. I would call him like our church plant catalyst, but I don't know what they call him in North Carolina. He's like the guy who's kind of our go-to guy for church planting stuff for Region 1. I don't even know if it's all of Region 1. Anyway, for part of North Carolina. And so we talked to him today. I just wanted to square some things away, like what do we need to be starting on? And so we are actually going to start our articles of incorporation and apply for an EIN under that one church family. It will all change to whatever name the church is going to be, but we don't know any of that right now. And KJ's sister Stacy has agreed to be treasurer right now for us, which means mail can go to her at a North Carolina address. She can be where the corporation headquarters is, and she can help us with reconciling our bank statements, and it's not KJ and I doing it all. I know she's a family member, so that's not ideal. And but it's something to start with, and I'm sure most church planners just start with them. So we're excited about all of that. It's a lot of work, and I have a lot of questions, but I'm learning as we go, and Paul's been great. Just setting up a Zoom today and then answering emails, and so it's exciting, but it's nerve-wracking. I sent an email out to our email list kind of with those updates. The next step is February we go to the Start Here, I think is what they call it. It's their like church planner orientation kind of thing. And that's in Asheboro, North Carolina. And so we'll have travel expenses for that. We've already rented an Airbnb for that same week that we're there in Avon. So we'll go to this church plant retreat, get fired up, and then we'll go to Avon and be able to explore and try and meet people and interact with people, and that's exciting. We're still praying about housing, so that's a big prayer request that we have. And KJ's computer last night really flipped out. He's been having problems with one of it. It's a MacBook Pro, I think, and it's got like the USB-Cs that require a dongle, and it's a pain. And he's been having problems where one USB-C sometimes will work and sometimes won't. And last night I gave him a different cord to try to plug the GoPro in, a USB-C cord, and it didn't like it. So we don't know if the cord did it or if it was just happened to be plugging it in and the computer was freaking out. Anyway, his Wi-Fi didn't work when he restarted it. The computer had all kinds of problems. Eventually it did reboot and he got it working because he's a Mac guy and he took it apart, and I don't even know what he did. But it's a 2017, so we're probably going to have to replace it, and MacBooks aren't cheap. They run well, and we know that if we go ahead and invest in one, we can use it not just for his everyday computer, but it will be something in the beginning we can use for projection if need be, or for live streaming. But yeah, it's an unexpected expense. So anyway, yay, church planning. I'm cooking prime rib tonight. We had a friend give us one for Christmas, and so we're having prime rib and potatoes. It's going to be good.